Hey folks, Eric the old jarhead here. You know, sometimes you gotta sneak out some little bit bigger lumber than what the log supposedly will give you. You know, they say that you need a log about 50% bigger than the CANT size you're looking for. And in this case, I needed to get a couple more 2x12s for the customer, but this log was a little small for a 12x12 CANT. But what you can do is you can sneak them out. So as long as you've got a wide enough log that will give you an opening face of, in this case, about 5.5 inches on both sides, and will give you 12 inches deep for that 5.5 inches. What you can do is what I did here. And what I did is I went ahead and I milled it out into a 12x12 CANT with wane on the outside 4 corners. Now, as you see here, I'm rolling this log around a little bit. Sometimes when you haven't cut all the branches off close to the bark, the log won't sit right on the bunks. And so you try to roll it up into the side supports, and as you're doing that, it kind of wobbles around a little bit and it won't get nice and square. So I had to kind of roll the log all the way around again and get it up square against those side supports. Once I did that though, then I was able to get going, take some cap cuts out, and begin to build my CANT. And my goal here was to build a 12-inch CANT, knowing that I'm not going to get a perfectly square 12x12 CANT. But as long as I can get about 5.5, 6 inches of opening face on all 4 sides of the CANT, then I know that I can at least get 2 to 3 2x6s out of the center of the log. Now, of course, you've got to box that heart out. So what you've got to do is look at the center where that heart is and say, okay, I'm going to take a 2x12 or a 1x12 right out of the center. In this case, what I did is I took a 2x12 right out of the center and then 2 2x12s on either side. And I was able to sneak out just enough of the CANT that I could get 3 2x12s, 2 of them with some wane, 1 without any wane. And in this case, I had 2 that were pretty good, actually. So that's what I'm doing here, just trying to sneak out some 2x12s to get a couple extra 2x12s for the customer. Of course, we had to do a band change in the middle here. You know, band changes don't take very long, so you can get one done pretty quick. So you can't change a band with gloves on, huh? I can't believe anybody would say they can't operate these mills without gloves on. Or with gloves on, I mean.
To increase your viewing, I got a few zoom in butt shots.
You got some butt shots in?
Yeah.
Did they have yoga pants on?
No yoga pants, they were kind of baggy.
Got that band change done. Once I got the band tightened up and everything ready to go, I can get back to working on this log and sneak out these 2x12s. And that's really the mission here. The mission is to try to get a couple 2x12s, maybe 3, out of the middle of the log, and some 1x's and 2x4s out of the rest of it. So, you know, if you figure that it's going to be 12 inches wide on the flat faces, that means you're going to have some pretty deep wane on the outer corners. Those, though, if you leave them bigger, 4 inches, for example, or if you got to leave them 2x's, what you do is you then go ahead and you just mill it down into 2x's. This customer wanted full dimension 2x12s and full dimension 2x4s. So we're going to mill it down into 2x's with that wane, and then take the 2x12s that have too much wane on them, and we'll just cut that wane off and make 2x4s out of what's left. I need to bring my chainsaw out. You know, when you're dealing with 20 footers, especially in the 1x12 to 2x12 range, even the cap cuts are going to be pretty heavy. Sometimes you just get the chainsaw out and cut them off and save somebody's back a little bit. Gotta love those close-in shots of the band coming through. Now you always got to go by the small end of the log too. I think one of the mistakes some people make sometimes is they look at the big end of the log and they think, oh, that's 18 inches. But if the other end is 15 inches, you're going to have wane on that small end. Look at that wind pushing the sawdust away. You gotta love that. Look at all the sawdust built up. Isn't that crazy? You know, if you haven't run a mill and put out 3,000 board feet in a weekend, you just haven't experienced that couple yards of sawdust you create. I always joke I make sawdust. Lumber's a byproduct. All right, we're just knocking them down. Once you get the last of the big stuff that you can, you got some flitches, you know, and you just flip those up on the deck so you can square them off for the customer. Pretty straightforward. Stand them up, get them against the side supports, clamp them tight, and away you go. As always, folks, if you like these videos, if you enjoy them, if you get something out of them, I'd really love it if you'd hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And I appreciate every one of you. And put some comments down there. Let me know what you think about the way I'm sneaking these 2x12s out of this log that was really too small. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love to see them, and I always try to answer comments. And don't be afraid to ask any questions that you've got. I'm always happy to answer them. You know, when you're milling stuff off like that, it just falls off sometimes on the inside. You got to reach down, pick it up, and throw it over. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. Sneaking some 2x out of a log that really wasn't big enough to make many of them, but we got what we could out of it and made 1x and 2x out of the rest. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. The old Jarhead out.